Hello everyone, it's Farkit here. In this video, I'm going to cover an overview of version 0.73. Now this update hasn't changed much. There's a lot of fixes, but there's no real additions. The reason being is that they're moving away from smaller updates and focusing on bigger ones. They're aiming for a version 1.0 release at the end of April 2018, just in case you weren't sure. They said they'll have an exact date when they're a bit closer. That was good of them to mention that once it goes full release, it will increase the price from $15 US to $20 US. They said they've been working on a lot of new features for the full release, and they've provided an idea of what they're planning to do with it. They said that languages and controller support will be improved and officially supported. They're going to give new reasons and resources for killing creepies, which are the mutants, so Armsies, Virginias, Cowmen, and baby mutants. I think this is good. There's no reward for killing them, so it's pointless a lot of the time. I think a lot of people just run instead of fighting them because there's just no incentive. So this is really good. I'd be curious to see what they come up with. They said there will be a rethinking of the cold and warmth system, including a new warm suit. I don't know what a rethinking means. Maybe they're just going to redo the mechanics, not do a complete overhaul. But the warm suit, that sounds a bit odd. I think they should go down the route of individual pieces instead of a full suit, because I've got no idea what that's going to look like and what happens if it looks like crap. Oh, time will tell. They said that new buildings will be added. They didn't give any indication as to what those buildings were. They're working on some big performance optimizations for late games. I think this is good. The reason I remove assets is because too many assets in the game, it does mess up the game later on. It takes too long to load and it slows down the performance. They plan on making some changes to how multiplayer save games work and dedicated server improvements. I think this is so you can share save games. It's not all linked off one save, the host. The player clothing system has been improved and expanded with a new system to allow you to switch outfits, though no mention of a female character as of yet. They're going to provide details about the VR game mode when it becomes closer to the release. And they said along with a bunch more of other changes, they don't have room here. I think they just don't want to give away all their cards, which is fair enough. Though they did say they've got some really crazy and fun surprises in store, especially regarding the ending, and they said they're really excited to see what people think. They stated to focus on pushing out the full release, they're going to stop doing small timed patches. So when you go in the game menu, you'll notice that the timer's not there. It just says full version, I think, 1.0 to be advertised. And they stated to keep everyone involved in the process leading up to the launch. And to help ensure that the release is as good as it can be, they'll be pushing out release candidates as they get closer to the first final. I'll just move on to the changes now. There's not going to be many visuals in this video because there wasn't really many to show. So I'll just run through them. They've added a new group icon option, which groups the icons together the further you get away from the icons. I tested it and it didn't work very well for some reason. It wasn't grouping at all. I'm not sure what that was about. I think you have to get really far away from it, like half an island away. Though I should let you know they still haven't fixed the upgrade plus for the fire upgrade. So when you attach cloth, you still can't attach booze. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. They fixed dynamite going off automatically when placed in a catapult. They've also fixed dynamite turning off in water, breaking achievement for fishing with the dynamite. They fixed drop dynamite fuse lit in the wrong place. Caves should now load properly and hold or save games. They fixed an issue with the survival guide not opening if the player was briefly airborne when opening the book. They fixed the camera jerkiness when moving while opening or closing the survival book. They fixed equipped weapon animations looking wrong when cold. The player will now drop any held logs when sitting on a bench. Increased height of all tree trunk colliders. I wonder if you'll be able to land on the tree when you get launched into the air when that bug happens. Who knows? They fixed players being able to pause game during loading screens and before the plane crash cutscene. They fixed the construction UI widget positioning being off for some structures. Hopefully that fixes when you're trying to build stuff, you can actually access it from the right point rather than going to this weird innocuous point to try and place the resources. Flag and interaction icons are now hidden while using the log sled. They used to wave about chaotically. It was quite distracting. Now that's attention to detail right there. They fixed the wrong scale of drop sticks. They fixed the geese sometimes appearing to float above the water. They fixed animation issues of taking heavy fall damage while aiming with the bow. This one was interesting, the caves. They updated and did a polish to Cave 5. I actually went through the whole cave and had a look, and it didn't look much different. I can see that they have changed some things. It's definitely a polish, but not much of an update. They fixed the end boss not appearing on fire for clients in multiplayer games. They fixed an issue with the arrows not sticking to the end boss. I noticed this when I just did that video doing the hard survival run in an hour. All the arrows kept bouncing off her. I wasn't sure if that was actually working or not. Arrows and spears can now pass through stick and bone fences. They fixed one of the bone arrow views and the inventory not being visible. They rebalanced saplings to work better with the machete versus other weapons. I think that's just another incentive to make the machete a little bit more useful, though they've got a way to go still. They fixed player flashlight not casting spec. I've got no idea what that means. In multiplayer, they've bumped the construction material count max synced value to 650,000 from 2,000. That's a lot. The beanie is no longer available for character models that don't fit, not retroactive. I actually don't know what that means. It is no longer possible to build things within the large raft, pillars, and stairs. This is really shit. They fixed cloth on put-out burning weapon not being visible when it's relit. This one's been around for a while. It's good that they fixed it. They fixed the lighter not behaving properly, getting stashed when lighting a burning weapon when it was put out. They fixed sharks disappearing for clients when killed. In multiplayer, set up texture variations for new cargo pants and fixed red paint and bloody textures. Fixed triggering the fire 1 action, left mouse click, when holding the passenger manifest in the inventory attempting to stash the manifest. That thing comes out in battle, it's annoying. They fixed the owl light tutorial no longer visible after going into the pause menu while in the hanging cutscene. They fixed the missing remove all prompt when the backpack was on the crafting mat, when you're trying to add quick select items. They fixed an issue with combining the recurve bow, the modern bow, and arrows to set active bonuses. That's where you combine the arrow with the bow. It just sets it as the arrow type instead of doing it, looking down and pressing R. Nothing special there. Berry bushes are now only visible when up and close and not on the LOD version of the models. I think that might fix the disappearing berries bug. They improved the held and fill water skin animations. They fixed cooking head on the fire, missing its eyeballs. It's actually quite freaky if you look at it. You can see right through the head. We used to be able to, you can't anymore. They fixed some props falling out of beach huts on spawning. Fixed ghost target, ghost rabbit cage, bench using old mesh models, and ghost renders or old wood models in the built versions. So basically they've changed the way the blueprint looks, made it look consistent with how it actually looks once it's built. They fixed the pot and other items from appearing in hand if picked up while eating meat. You see this, it looks pretty funny. It goes swinging about. They fixed the key card disappearing sometimes when opening the door in the end game section. They fixed the wrong weapon sometimes being equipped when opening keycard doors. They fixed happy birthday traps not requiring rope, so they require rope now. They fixed turtles not dropping head trophies when skinned. It doesn't drop a turtle head, it just drops a tortoise head. Nothing special. They fixed some areas where the player could get stuck in the sinkhole. Here's another stupid change. Placing a ghost on a catapult now requires that you have enough room behind for the player to use it. Now I can understand it's a realistic thing, but if you try to place it on a houseboat like I'm trying here, you have to place it really far in, or you have to turn it on its side to actually place it. Maybe some of us just want to use it as storage and not for its intended purpose. Because the catapult's crap. It's so hard to hit things with it. Its turn ratio is terrible. But you just turn it on its side and you build things behind it anyway. You can do that, no issue. Just means you'll have to reshuffle things a little bit. I improved some of the shiny hair variations, multiplayer, different characters. Fixed birds sometimes landing on perched targets that have already been destroyed. So they land and they float in midair. They fixed enemies standing up after being killed and dropped from a noose trap. I've seen this one before. It is now possible to light burning weapons, molotovs and dynamites while having the plastic torch equipped. It will now switch to the lighter automatically. I checked this out, this is really good. Though it doesn't switch back to the torch. So some might find that painful. The torch is crap, doesn't matter. They fixed not being able to equip the lighter or light fires while holding a dead body. This has been around for a while. I always wondered if this was a bug or an addition. Looks like they fixed it. It's good, because this one was quite annoying. You'd have to drop the body, light the fire, and pick up the body again. The fixed water splashes visible on other players while inside the yacht. They fixed cases of building tree houses on dead trees, allowing the player to climb down through the world. You'd still do it anyway. Climbing ropes can do a lot of crazy things. They fixed upgraded sticks cloth appearing off the stick when windy after the fire's been put out. They fixed the flag cloth color not being set automatically when completing a building. So I'm guessing it was set to grey. If you don't know, if you set it to grey, it removes the flag, as in you can't see where that building is. They fixed walking in and out of endgame entrance, breaking lighting in caves. They fixed the player not being able to pick up logs while airborne. I think this was quite a frustrating one. It can be a real pain to get logs sometimes, and you need to do things like jump and do all sorts of tricks to try and get the logs. In multiplayer, they fixed the end boss sometimes not spawning if the client entered the in-game section alone. And also in multiplayer, they fixed being able to look around in the pause screen if hit by explosives. Attempting to join a full lobby now opens back the game browser automatically. And it displays a relevant error message. And also they fixed up some user interface stuff in the main menu so it looks a bit more updated and modern. It's got the effects around, it's on a different scale, but no more save slots. We've got what we've got. Anyway, this video is a little bit different to what I usually do. The reason being is that the update is pretty piss poor. And there's nothing really to show apart from what I've done. And it's very short too, so I thought I'd read them all out. If I covered the highlights, it would be like 5 things and it'd be about 1.5 minutes long. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this update. To be honest, I thought it was really boring. I seen it, I'm like, I've got to do a video on this. Come on. But I've done it. And here it is. And if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers.